Can you phrase it in? Because the
Yeah.
double negatives are killing me.
Sure. Acceptable for high body count men, so a guy with a high body count, to prefer to date low body count virgin women. You disagree with this prompt.
I mean, I think I literally just explained that I think it's that they want to go and say, well, I want a low body count, but I'm going to rank up a bunch of women's body count because I have a higher one. I think it's crap. Do I think it's like in the terms of acceptable? Do I think they are allowed? Men are allowed to do what they want. Clearly they do.
Okay.
Do what they want.
So you object to their past conduct and then them wanting, after contributing to the very problem of women with high body counts, it's kind of like, well, you contributed to the problem and you want a low body count woman, but there's all these high body count women out there because of your very own conduct.
Correct.
But isn't that...
I suppose that's fair to say insofar as they contributed to it. But again, I don't think we disagree though. You said like, well, they're allowed to want that. So
They're allowed to want whatever they want, but I think it's a little bullshit.
Yeah, but men are the same exact way. Men can
totally.
literally not sleep around.
You literally just agreed though. You said like they are contributing to the problem that they want.
No, I agree that they're contributing to it, but I don't think it's bullshit for them to, despite this, want a woman with a low body count. I don't think that's bullshit.
What would you think it is? Give me a word.
Preference.
Okay,
yes.
so girls have preference too.
Yeah, women have preferences.
Is every
Your
woman...
friend over here is in a wheelchair. She doesn't want to date a guy in a wheelchair. Is that double
I mean,
standard?
at least hers was based in practicality of reaching the back burner. Yours is just like, I want it. So there, I get it.
Well, hold on. There's plenty of reasons to prefer to date somebody with a low body count.
Give me a practical reason.
Is
practical?
Is every person you're sleeping with?
You don't want them to know that you're below average.
Look, STDs.
You don't want them to know you're below average.
Okay, they get a test.
Yeah, sure, but like this is a consideration to have, and the thing is, like, yes, they can get a test, but like a lot of people could lie, right? They could lie.
But also, majority of STDs now can either be cured or treated so that they are so low that they are not detectable and can't be passed on.
Well,
then maybe just take that as an argument.
What if you got the STD on your having fun?
There's herpes,
for sure.
HPV. These things are can't get rid of them.
But you can get a test.
Exactly. You just eliminate that by asking for a test.
You could, but like, here, how about this? Practically speaking, do you think most people who engage in a sexual encounter are getting, both partners are getting tested prior?
I never said that, but I'm basing off of your preference.
But so like in reality, we can talk about like ST.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. But like, yeah, we can talk about like STD testing, but like practically speaking, living in reality, most people are not getting full panel STD tests before they have sex.
If you want to find someone with a low body count,
I agree
due
with that.
to the fact that you don't want to catch an STD, you may eliminate that issue by just getting testing.
Yeah, so I can give you some other reasons too why men care about body count. So first off, there's just this. I don't know if you'll even find this compelling, but this is, I think, the biggest basis for why men care about this. It's just evolutionary. It's just biological for men. So it comes down to paternity certainty or paternity uncertainty. So for example, if a woman is sleeping with multiple men and they're all blasting inside or whatever, or even if there's infidelity, she's cheating, if a woman gets pregnant, right? And again, I know there's like DNA tests and
abortion.
Abort
or birth control or men created.
Hold on. So
and force upon.
So this is why it's important though. So and it's like there's an evolutionary disgust response for men when it comes to promiscuity in women. This is one of the reasons, aside from like STDs and just kind of like the fact that it'd be gross to like, I don't know, if some dude just fucked a girl and then you fuck her like right after, there's still like comments that's just gross on its face. But evolutionarily speaking, detail, right? Evolutionarily speaking, so if a woman is sleeping with 10 men, right? Who's the father?
Okay, so then let's back up to the actual question, because you're referring to the fact that you don't want to date women who's actively having sex with other men at the same time as you. We're referring to body count. Past.
Right, but so that could be proxy for body count, and so
that's a different conversation, though. I mean, we can just
right. Okay, so
agree
a woman who's been celibate for a year and she's previously had, let's say she previously was promiscuous. one of the major principles in psychology is past behavior is a major predictor for future behavior. So somebody who's promiscuous is probably, and they've actually done studies on that. There's
like cheaters that you just said that cheaters can change, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then can't women change?
Yeah, they can. Yes, a cheater can change, but I would still preclude a past cheater in terms of dating. Just because somebody can do something doesn't mean I have to accept dating them.
Okay.
But in any case, I do want to finish off on the paternity uncertainty thing. This is hardwired in. So even if it's just due to body count, a woman who has a promiscuous past, right, again, it could relate and it could be proxy for like a simultaneous degree of promiscuity, right? And so for this reason, if a woman is promiscuous, we can't make a determination when it comes to paternity if she's been sleeping with a bunch of men.
I still don't think that has anything to do with the body count conversation.
Absolutely.
So let's say a woman has a body count, a higher body count than you would like, but she's not currently sleeping with any men and she hasn't for a year. Now that's kind of where you started this. Now how do you feel?
Well, so what I'm trying to explain to you.
Well, I know, but you're avoiding the question just like you told me I was doing.
Sure, I'll answer the question. But you're trying to say like, but body count, she's not currently, like if it can be provable that she's not sleeping with anybody, it doesn't matter, because in terms of why it's evolutionarily hardwired into men, it doesn't, whether you can intellectualize it away or not is totally irrelevant, right? So here's how. So if a woman is sleeping with a bunch of men, right, you cannot determine paternity in that situation, right?
Without a
what does paternity mean in that
test?
Sentence?
If they're
okay,
the
but
father.
so DNA, being able to test for DNA came around in the 1980s. That doesn't undo hundreds or tens of thousands.
So you're
hundreds
saying
of
you can't
thousands of
undo
years.
hardwiring of men's brains?
No, it's hardwired.
Would you
why I
call
don't like
the
men.
man promiscuous?
What do you mean?
Because he's already had his body count up and now he wants the virgin
Well,
and
here's
to
the
taint
difference,
her?
right? So as a woman,
Tainted.
Here's the difference. So if a man has 10 wives and he sleeps with all of them, you know who the father is in each instance. You know who the mother is in each instance. If a woman has 10 husbands and she's sleeping with all of them,
So
who's the father?
So the
You don't know.
argument you're
But
saying
why-
is you're hardwired to just have sex to produce
Yes.
a baby. But a minute ago you're referring to the fact that all you want to
That's
do
why humans have
is
sex.
fuck women with zero responsibility. Like you don't
Yeah,
actually
that's
always
a poor-
want the
that
baby.
Your argument fails. So, why do you think people have sex drives? Like, what's the evolutionary reason?
I wasn't referring to that. No, I'm talking about what they want.
What's the what's the evolutionary
in
reason?
the forefront of your brain,
Yes.
why are you having sex? Not in your subconscious, not in your hardwiring. Why do you crave sex? The feeling,
this is an interesting conversation. I think that what occurs, I guess, in your subconscious actually has massive influence on, like, even if a man has no intention. Here, let me explain it like this. Let's say a 19-year-old frat boy, he just wants to a bunch of bitches, right? He doesn't want to get any of them pregnant. Why does he want to a bunch of women?
Because
Why?
it's in his hard wiring to
why?
procreate.
Like, why are people sexually attracted? Like, why do people have sex drives? Why are people sexually attracted to somebody else? It's because of procreation. Now, I agree with you that, for example, you can want to have sex for fun, for pleasure, and you could have no intention of wanting to get her pregnant. In fact, that's how most people, when they have sex, probably don't want to get pregnant. Want to get them pregnant, right? But why do they want to have sex?
Hardwiring. I'm not disagreeing
Sure.
with that, but I'm referring to, like, why do they want to actually have sex in that moment? That's what I was referring to, not the hardwiring, not where it comes back to, because what you're saying is, like, you're as men, you're only capable of behaving in a way that refers back to your hardwiring.
Yes.
So you're saying that your behavior is excusable based on hardwiring.
That's like all those people you were talking about.
Men's behavior.
What do you mean men's behavior?
Well, let's say a bunch of women, even though they want women to have a low body count, is excusable because that's just because they're hardwiring.
Well,
But women control access to sex. If a woman says no, then the man's
your
not going to
premise.
fuck.
Your understanding of my position or your premise is false. I'm not in favor of male promiscuity. I'm simply stating that if a man does have a high body count, there's nothing actually wrong with him preferring to date a low body count or virgin woman, despite him, I suppose, contributing to a lack of women that he would find more desirable. There's not anything, I don't think it's hypocritical. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with it.
So then women preferring to have like specific things they want in a man, but you were saying earlier, like they should broaden their horizons so that they're not single forever. So like this is the same scenario of like you've lowered your amount of people, your fish in the sea, and that's acceptable. But earlier you were both telling us all that it's kind of baffling to you that women would have high standards for men and that they would want them to follow.
You were saying that earlier. Yes, you was.
Yeah, so Andrew was saying it. I believe I said it. That's not really.
You laughed out loud, actually, and made a mockery.
Right, but that's not really an argument. So what would be fair for you to bring that up would be
your face right now. Exactly what I mean. No matter what, I'm going to lose in his eyes.
Well, we're in the middle of having a disagreement.
Discussion.
Unless you want me, I'm not going to just cede the conversation because you want me to.
You just keep telling me that I'm wrong, so that's what I'm referring to. Like you decided that I am wrong.
So if I'm a promiscuous girl and I want a virgin guy, that's okay.
Hold on. You got to let me address her point. So those things were said previously in the conversation, but it's almost a total non sequitur. Guys, you guys got to be quiet, okay? It's a total non sequitur. Total non sequitur.
Because they don't equate. They're not the same thing.
Well, so if, for example, the man with a high body count, his desire to have a low body count woman, he was severely struggling, perhaps even because of his own high body count. If he was severely struggling to find or procure a low body count woman or a virgin woman, then we can have a conversation of, well, you're failing to get these women, you should then lower your standards. But it's just totally different.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So you don't believe
evolutionary psychology. That's what it is.
No, so we were having a discussion of like her standards were like really high, and
that it was
really
laughable that women don't lower their standards when they can't find the person they're looking for.
But that's why men need to have a sex drive so that the
stop.
My bad, I was in the bathroom.
Okay, let me have the back and forth. So, I don't think high body count men have trouble finding low body count women to date. I genuinely don't. Because high body count men, typically, in order for them to have gotten the high body count, they typically have to be attractive in one or more verticals. So either good looking, funny, status, rich, good personality, etc. And women overwhelmingly seem to care not so much. Like they're much more forgiving of male promiscuity than the reverse. So I don't really find it to be a situation where low body count women or women in general disqualify men on the basis of having a high body count or past promiscuity.
No, but there would like statistically be much less women, right, available. So you're telling me that it's not hard to find them because they're easy to find, which means there's a lot of them, but that wouldn't add up to your other argument.
No, I don't think. I don't really think necessarily. I think there's while there, I suppose, in modern day, there's fewer or less low body count women. I mean, this is also, I think, defeated like a man could just continue to date like 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds. And like, this is going to just be a way for him to like keep searching for low body count women. If he's capable of getting them, of course.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
How much, what's the limit for low body count? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What is low body count?
What's
like,
your
is that
definition?
like 5? Is it 2?
It depends on age.
Yeah, but what's your definition? Give us examples.
Like to give you a number? I would say over 10 is getting into high body count territory. Okay. Maybe like medium.
That's reasonable.
Medium. Definitely over 20. I think most men would tend to agree. Like over 20, certainly. There's no arguments there. But it depends on age too. Like a woman who's 30, her body count being 10 versus like a woman who's 18, her body count being 10.
Well, yeah. And earlier we were talking about just like any sexual act, you want it to go towards body count, right?
Andrew said that. Yeah. I wouldn't like. I mean, I think a woman who's like given like 100 jobs but had sex with 2 guys, like that's probably different than a woman who's just had any kind of sex with 2 men, including oral. So like it would.
She could have oral herpes.
Yeah,
sure.
That's true.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm getting to that, but like, so I mean, giving a bunch of dudes BJs, but not like them, like that's still within the realm of promiscuity. So like,
I know someone like that.
Yeah, so I mean that's a fair point. Maybe men need to ask BJ count too. Thank you. I'm gonna add that to my question.
Andrew counted it.
Okay, Andrew body count and BJ count. You know.
Andrew counted it.
And well, how about this?
I can't wait for the story times that end up on the internet due to the men asking this on the first date. That's gonna give me joy.
I think it's valid. Totally valid. Okay, hold on. So going around.